Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we have a very special returning guest who's probably been on the podcast 4 or 5 times at least now, but he also just won the 2022-2023 FPHL Commissioner's Cup Championship in the Federal Prospects Hockey League with the Danbury Hat. Frankie McClendon. Glad to have him on the show again. Always a great guest to have on. So it's gonna be a blast. So welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, Frankie McClendon.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks for having me. It's always fun to come on this show and this podcast. And like after, I've been on it for a couple of times to see how many guys you've gotten on this podcast. Like it's really grown the last couple of years. So I commend you on that, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's a lot of fun just hearing these guys' stories and just how they got to where they are, like you, and then just also like anyone can learn from stories like this and just help them get better, whether that be at hockey or even like any other sport or anything in life. Honestly, just it's all about like the learning and just having like a good like positive energy and positive show to go back on.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, man. And I even hear from like some of the younger kids, like they see like the post on Instagram, but like I've seen other guys around the league that you've gotten on the podcast just to hear their stories of where they've come from, all the struggles that they've been through. So a lot of guys know that they're not alone because like everybody else has like their own struggles and
Yeah.
they've all hit bumps in their careers, but to see them still grinding it away, just like me and even guys at the high level and to the coast, like I remember we had Brad Barone on there. Like not a lot of people know he was my first ever goalie partner in the Fed. Like he came out of BC and like look at him now. Like he's in the coast still grinding away and like we still reach out to each other here and there. But like yeah, you're right. Like everybody has the grind story, everybody has some type of story, and it's just great to see.
Yeah, it's not all Cinderella stories here. It's just like everyone has their different story, different like what did the different adversity that they faced. So it's just good to hear that. But like you said, like it's good to hear that everyone's facing like some sort of struggle, and it's not like an easy path, and like you're just facing adversity that you got to overcome, and like you never know where guys will be. Just like Brad, like from the Fed to the coast, like
Hmm.
guys we're talking about before the episode, like DK Fed to the SB, the coast, and he got a cup of coffee in the A as well. So like
Yeah.
it just proves just like you never know what the journey is gonna be like, but it's a fun ride.
Bro, no, it is. And whatever opportunities you get, like I know I tell like kids who I'm coaching nowadays, but I remember even coaches like this past year and years before, and even my goalie coach telling me like, if you get an opportunity, just don't think about it. Just try to take that opportunity to ride with it because you never know where it's going to take you.
Yeah, and like when you do get that opportunity, like a lot, like I'm sure a lot of us will like overthink about stuff, but like you're playing the game because you're having fun with it, and it's the greatest sport in the world. So like if you just go have fun with it and don't overthink, like that's when you're gonna be successful.
No, you're absolutely correct, man.
Yeah, and like you talking about success, you guys won the championship in Danbury this year. So like it was a historical year for the team, a historical year for you, career numbers. So like like just thinking back on the season, like what has this ride been like?
Oh man, it's been an emotional ride. I can't tell you like how many times like when that buzzard went and like or when Marshy scored that overtime goal, just to have that feeling of like the job was like not done from last year because everything kind of felt like everything was very salty in our mouths
Yeah.
from getting bounced by Columbus in the second round. But they had a good team that year. For us, it was kind of redemption. For me, it was kind of redemption as well too because like I went from 1 to 3 as a goalie and like I kept my mouth shut. I kept grinding away, and then I worked hard all summer long, and then this year I knew I had a chance to be a number one, but then I knew Willie was coming back too. So, um, for us as a goaltending tandem, like we really like had to be lights out every night. The team didn't expect us to be, but like we knew that was our job. But we had a young team. It was a great team to be a part of. This is probably the best team I've ever been a part of in my pro like playing career. Um, just to be around each other every day. It was a tight knit group. Like other teams you hear, they have problems here and there. You have cancerous
Yeah.
guys, but that wasn't the problem here in Danbury. And I know there's other teams when it got around the playoff time, they would try to play these mind games and say, "Oh, Danbury has a lot of problems in their locker room and stuff." And I can tell you right now, like these guys here, we just laughed at it every time we heard it because it was just teams that are trying to get under our skin, and we knew how close we were. We always did something with each other every time we went on the road or when we were here at home. You know, it was a close knit group, and to seal it off with the championship win in overtime, um, that whole party, like jumping off the bench and then in the locker room, like it gives me the chills sometimes, man. It gives me the chills.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just to like, especially since like the year before, I don't think you were on the roster at the start of the year, so you came in like November or something, didn't you?
Yeah, because I went to like the SB like for camp and got put on waivers, and I sat around like after I got put on waivers, I sat around back at home for 2 weeks, not knowing if I was even gonna if that was it, if I was like gonna make another team. And I reached out, and I even reached out to like the lowest teams too, but like I just reached out to anybody that was looking for a goalie, and luckily Danbury took a chance on me, and I was able to stick around. I made a name for myself a little bit more. I feel like, but um, I held the team in place, and then Willie came in, and it was me and Willie, and we had another goalie at the time, Will McEwen. But then we ended up getting Pete DeSalvo from the SB, and I had to take the back seat, but I was totally fine with it because like that's just how I am as a person and as a player. I just knew I had to keep working my bag off, and to come back this year really spoke volumes to the organization, the coaches, and like it feels like home here.
Yeah, and like especially like talking about home and just being like with like that close knit team that you were with like this year, especially like it just those are what teams are made championship teams are made of. It's just how close the guys are, and like there's no problems within the room. Like everyone is there for each other, going to war for each other every single night. It doesn't matter like who's in the lineup, like every single person in that locker room has got the other person's back.
Exactly, and like even for the guys that weren't on the playoff roster, like they weren't in the lineup during playoffs, I don't think there was a single guy that had like their ego got the best of them, and I don't think there was nothing bad. Like, because we would still practice all as a team. Like, you know how like some teams would do like black aces where they would go
Yeah.
on the ice after their team. We didn't have that here in Danbury. Guys would come on the ice regardless, and we still practice with each other. We had a tight knit group, and it clearly shows. But like a lot of people don't see behind the scenes of like even the scratches, like or walking out of the locker room, like they're lined up there right on the sides, like right by our washers and our trainer room, and they're still giving us knucks like before we go out downstairs to walk onto the ice. So like that spoke a lot of volume too. Like our scratches or guys that were hurt or whatever, like they're still right there. Not one guy was like not yelling at the next guy, good luck, have a game. Like it started all from the top with our captain, and it leads and it ends with our goalies, and like that's how far like we were so tight with each other.
Yeah, those are teams you wanna play for and you want to go to battle with every single night. And then to
Yeah.
have a guy like your captain, Brian Wilson, yourself, just like guys like that, like what are some of the things that you learn from top caliber guys that just keep pushing you every single night?
Well, like to learn from like to watch Willie play every night and see the type of caliber goalie that he is, like should not be in the Fed. Like that's a D1 goalie. Like I remember seeing him in juniors, like just his pad scheme and stuff. Like so I didn't really know him, but I just knew of him. But to like see him when last year when he first came to the team, to see the development that he made over the course of the summertime to see it. Like he put in a lot of work this summer, but just to watch him night in and night out, and it's just like it's unreal of the saves that he makes. Like it's so simple. And if there was ever an off night too that he had, like he'd still battle, right?
Yeah.
Or if the team had an off night, he's still a gamer. But to see it every day within practice and then games, like it's uncanny, like I couldn't believe like the type of goalie he is. He's a first class guy, like it's like almost like a cerebral assassin, he's a gamer. Like nothing really phases him. Like you don't see him arguing, you don't see him yelling. I don't think I only saw him snap one time and it wasn't really a snap, it was kind of calm, but like it was after a game that we had like a huge lead against Delaware and then we started to play like lower level. Like we were just caring about points, and then we got into penalty trouble and kind of left him out to dry. But like it shouldn't have been a close game. We blew him out in the past, and like he kind of let it be known in the locker room, but it wasn't in like a yelling way. It was
Yeah.
kind of a calm. It was kind of a calm like yell like demeanor he did, but. He's a class act guy, and then our captain Johnny Ruiz, like he leads by example every game, like you saw like the championship photo, like when he lifted the trophy, like blood down his face because of a hit. But like that's a guy that came back from many hits, many injuries. He battled every day. He was a great leader on and off the ice. So
Yeah, and like just from experience, like when you guys were in port and you guys played those back-to-back nights, like you just tell just from watching the game that everyone has each other's back. Like the leaders are the leaders are the ones like that are like really like leading the team, and then you put up a stellar game that night as well. So I was
yeah.
like, it was just awesome to just see, and like you could tell just from those two games that you guys were probably going to go on to win the championship.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, because you were there too. You got. I think that's your first time watching me like live too,
Yeah,
right? So, I mean, it's different from watching on film, but like when you
yeah,
watch a goalie in person, it's night and day difference, right? And like obviously in Port Huron, it was kind of a mess on that second game, with their goalie doing what he did. But like that's why we have Amesbury, like and like we didn't. A lot of teams that got on us, they were like, "Oh, you're only tough when Amesbury is in the lineup." No, like we're just tough all around, and
yeah.
like, but Amesbury's very tough, so it's just like teams knew not to like really mess with us.
Yeah, it's like, what was it like with Amesbury, like in your lineup? Like he's like, I've heard that he's a big like leader in the locker room as well. It's
Oh
like,
my god,
what was it like just having him around?
oh my god, he's so vocal. That's a guy that will do anything for the team. Like if he has to get in a fight because we're like a little bit sluggish or slow in a game and he needs to pump us up, like that's the first guy he'll go to bat for us. Like he'll run through a brick wall for us. And you know, like I don't know if like teams would give him a bad rap, but like at least our enforcer, like he can actually play hockey. Like
Yeah,
if you look at his elite prospect or anything, like he's played in the SB, he's played in the Central Hockey League, I believe. So he can actually play hockey. Like even though he's a heavyweight, like he can still play hockey. Like he still had numbers this year too. And to see him score against Carolina in the playoffs, I know that must have felt so good to him, because he had a lot of chances during the regular season. And like there was one point, I think, in the series versus Carolina, he could have started the game off. I think it might have been game five. Like it was a 2-on-1. He was going down. He got the pass from Buzzy. And if he would have buried that and got us out to a 1-0 lead, that building, Danbury Ice Arena, was going to be electric, man. Like, let me tell you, like when he drops the gloves, the fans are electric. The boys, they just get pumped up, because like that's a guy that will like put the team on his back sometimes.
yeah. I remember watching like the mic'd up videos, and he's like, I don't want to fight 5 times a game, but like, can you just take this guy? And like, he's just
Yeah,
like, it's just contagious energy. And then
yeah,
like when guys are laughing at him from the bench, he's like, what are you laughing at? And then the guys just shut up. And they're like,
yeah.
nothing.
No, yeah. I mean, but he's a great locker room guy. You
Yeah.
know, like we joked around so much during the season, during the playoffs. Like we're still joking around now, but I don't know if you saw that video as well. Um, when he was mic'd up, he went around and he was telling one of our other buddies, Kuzi, he's like, "Go high block on Frankie, like short side."
Hmm.
And like I know where he shoots too, but like that time he just got up good. You saw my first reaction. I was just so mad. And he like skated around. He was like, I was like, let him have that right there. But like, you know, even warm ups, we're all just joking around and stuff. And he's like, he lets the guys get loose, you know, like just his demeanor, his energy. And he's a huge energy guy. Just, you know, he brings that out on us.
Yeah, that's unreal. And just like about like the energy from like the team within the building, like I've heard that Danbury rinks like one of the best rinks to play in the Feds. Like what is the
Mhm.
atmosphere like, especially like when you're warming up, like you said, like it's electric anyways already, but like what's the whole atmosphere like?
It was unbelievable this year. From last year, we had a lot more fans in the seat. But it's also because like we were winning, we were in first place. Danbury Ice Arena is the toughest ice arena to play in, you know, because it's super like kind of closed off. It's kind of not small, but like
Yeah.
the stands like section 102 for away teams. Like I'm so sorry, but like it's hard to be on that away bench. Like even during playoffs, like during warmups, how loud it was, like all the sirens going off. It made it felt like it was like a junior B game in Canada, you know? Like you couldn't even hear yourself think during TV timeouts because all the horns going off, all the sirens, and then uh like fans from different teams were getting mad at us about that, but like just do something about it then. Like it's
Yeah.
tough to play in Danbury. Like we thrive off of that energy, you know.
Home ice advantage.
And that's what it is. Like, I think we only lost two regular season games at home all year.
Wow.
Like that kind of speaks volume right there. Like that's why it's tough to play at Danbury Ice Arena. And
Yeah, and
like
like
obviously they're the best fans in the
yeah.
FPHL too. So
Yeah, I've heard that like opposing teams hate it. Like I was talking to Mario from the goalie from Carolina yesterday, and he's like, I like if you're an opposing goalie in that building, like it sucks. Like the fans just
yeah.
gonna give it to you, and but like it's a fun atmosphere to play in. But you know, as an opposing goalie, you're gonna get chirped. You're gonna
Oh
get
yeah.
like everything at you.
Yeah. Like section 102, they have like a chant for the goalies, and like a lot of buildings do. Like Carolina has
Yeah,
one, but it's not that great anyways. But I know after we score, like all of our fans are like Civ, 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 just give, and all the entire arena is like in with section 102. But there's the animal house too, so it sits directly like across on the right side of where the opposing team goalie is. And but the best thing is like our fans though is like they'll give it to you during the game, but after the game they'll talk to you,
yeah,
they'll buy you a beer after the game. It's like it's not a hostile environment, but like when it came to playoffs, like you saw how it went with Carolina and how it went with Bingo. Like it was like, oh, kind of look out. It was almost turning back into to the Trashers days, but I was like, this is Danbury free. And I loved it.
yeah. And it's historical with all the organizations that's went through Danbury, like the Titans, the Trashers,
The
the Hat
Whalers, yeah.
Tricks, the Whalers. Like the list goes on and on. Like
Oh
it's a
yeah.
historical city to play hockey, and just like I'm sure you have fans from the Trashers days and all that. So like it's just great to like great atmosphere to be a part of and a great city to be a part of.
Oh yeah, it is. And you know, we saw that game in, game out, like how much they supported us. Like I think we had a couple of sellouts here and there, but like fans would show up and like to see it from last year to this year and it's night and day difference, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, the atmosphere within that game five overtime winner to win the championship, like
Mhm.
what was going through your head throughout that entire game, and then leading into overtime because its next goal wins the championship.
Honestly, like we were up what 2-1, and then Carolina scored at 4 minutes left, and like there's a couple original players that won a championship with me. Like when I was there, I think there's only four guys left, And the guy that scored the game tying goal for them, Yuri Pastuka, when he scored, he's like looking straight at me and he's smiling and smirking. And I just remember saying in my head, I was like, no chance this kid's gonna get one over us right here. I was like, no way. And when Marshy, playoff MVP right there, so clutch in overtime, when he scored that goal on Hussey, um, I blacked out right there. I just jumped up and it felt different from the year I won in Carolina because I was on crutches that
Yeah.
year. So I really didn't have that experience, jumping off the bench, throwing your glove and blocker up. When he scored, jumped off the bench, I had like a split second of like, oh, where am I going? Am I going to the pile right here, the scoring pile? Or am I racing down to my goalie partner? And like you see me in the video, like I start going to the pile and I was like, nah, screw that. I went straight to Willie. I was like skating down, like fists going up and celebrating. And it was a blackout moment. It's like so many emotions went through my head. I just you couldn't think. You just was like it was like, oh my God, like we did it.
Yeah, and then the locker room party after is probably the same thing where it's just blackout and it's just a fun time. Like I've seen the live videos from Voidy when he was putting it up, and it just seemed like a lot of fun and like nothing better.
A lot of boys went live. That was a little bit dangerous on my part too, because I remember I went live and I was like, oh, I should just take this down right now. No, just to go into the locker room with all like the plastic up everywhere.
Yeah.
It was so funny. Just because I don't know if this is true. I don't know. But like I think there was plastic up like in the third period, and then right before overtime, like they had to scramble and rip all the plastic down, like right before we got upstairs,
Yeah.
heading off after the third period. I don't know. I cannot confirm or deny that, but just leave it at that.
Yep.
But yeah, to come back up in overtime, just like after celebrating on the ice with the guys, and then it was really cool celebrating with the fans too. Because I don't know if you saw the video, like a lot of fans were on the ice
Yeah.
after, uh, just to celebrate with them because it's their city. To see how happy they were that we won a championship, and then we went upstairs and we had alone time with the guys and like champagne everywhere, and then like just the trophy. We didn't leave that locker room. Like the game ended at 9. We didn't get out of that locker room until almost midnight.
Wow.
Like it was insane. Like I didn't I don't I don't think the guys wanted to get undressed. Like we were still in shock, right? We were just partying in the locker room, but like then I remember we sat down around the locker room and we were just talking, and you can tell like it was something very special there.
Yeah, and you go through hell the entire season just to get to that point, and like it's a long season. You're playing
Mm.
65 plus games or whatever. So
Oh, we
like
played 10 more
easy.
games. We played 59 regular season games, but
Yeah.
it took us all 10 games to win.
Yeah.
Like 2 games in the first round, went to 3 games in the second round, then all 5 in the finals. Like it's a grind, man. It's a
Yeah. So
grind.
what was that grind like going, especially since it is a longer season and you're putting, especially come playoff time, like you're putting your body on the line every single night.
Hmm. Well, the trips, the bus rides don't get easier, man. Let
No,
me tell you
not at
that.
all.
Those bus rides are miserable. It's just like you gotta really take care of your body. Luckily we had those Mondays like were optional days, but like a few of us would still go on the ice no matter
Yeah.
what, but keep it really short, keep it simple. But you gotta credit our head coach, Billy McCurry, like probably the best coach in the FPHL. Like he expected the best out of us and he got the best out of us every day and every game. And we can't forget about like um our goalie coach, Matt Voidy. Like if it wasn't for him, like to have a goalie coach around, like I think teams and like players forget like how valuable a goalie coach is.
Yeah.
It's kind of key for us goalies, but it was really well this year because like Voidy was kind of like, I really don't need to touch Willie or Frankie. Like I don't need to like pull him aside and be like, hey, we gotta work on this. Like because I think me and Willie kind of had that we came back for the season in shape. We came back kind of really dialed in. We didn't have like no kinks to get out, but um, we would always go to Voidy like to watch video, but we would go to Voidy about working on things after practice as well. So it was nice for him because he was just like he got to kind of sit back and like he would
Yeah.
still like critique us and we'd watch video and go over some things, but like he didn't have to like hammer things away and like we have to work on things over and over. Like um it was just it was an easy job for him this year, but like teams forget how valuable goalie coaches are, and like if it wasn't for him, like who knows where we would be at.
Yeah, it's a nice luxury to have, especially in minor pro, to have a goalie coach around
Yeah,
full time and just to be able to bounce ideas off of him. And if you have something to work on or want
yeah,
more work to get done, like you have the option to right there.
right, yeah, and like he's a very technical guy, and he's been around for a long time. Like, yes, he's our assistant coach,
Yeah.
and like, yeah, he was a goalie coach at I think UMass, I believe, and then but he works with all these other goalie coaches as well. So like, he's always a student of the game. He's always coming out with something new. But like, he's had like a lot of good goalies in the last couple of years here, and like even with in the null, like Patty Berser, I don't know how to say his last name, but Patty B, he's in the USHR right now, but he came from he's a team Latvia goalie. He came
Yeah.
to us in Danbury for the junior team, and look at him, like he's going to be a draft pick this year. So if he gets drafted, that's like huge even for Voidy too, you know, like because that's one of like the guys he's helped, you know.
Yeah, and that's just awesome to just be able to witness just how like good like throughout the season you guys get and like how dialed you guys are. Like what helped you guys just stay dialed was just the possibility of just going for the championship. Is that what kept you dialed the entire season?
Uh Yeah, I mean, like guys have like their own goals as well, but like
Yeah.
I think once your own goals kind of get in the way of team goals, like it's kind of hard. But we had set the goal from day one. Like Billy, he set the goal from day one. Like this is going to be a championship team, and you saw throughout the entire season like how many like 10 game winning streaks we were on, or like how many games we blown out teams. So there was a goal right from the get go, to get a championship, and I think that was one of my goals too that I wrote down before the season even started. I knew I wanted to have a above a 90 save percentage and below a 2.3 goals against average, and like it works out. You know,
2.19917.
yeah,
Perfect.
thanks. Yeah. I tried to beat my old one from Carolina the year I won, but it's all right. And
Yeah.
I tried to stay in like the same realm as Willie too. Like, cause at one point we were neck and neck on goals against average, like 219, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were right. We were tied at one point, and then I had a game where I gave up 3 goals, and I was like, "Oh, there that game goes." I think it was a Port Huron game. That's what messed me up because like if I had like 2 more saves, I would have been fine.
Oh,
But
but like that just makes it more competitive when you're battling against your goalie partner for best goals
yeah,
or better goals against average than each other. Like it just makes you like want to get the saves even more.
yeah, but like honestly, we didn't really care about stats during the
Yeah,
year. We just cared. The only thing in stats we cared about was getting our wins for the team. You
wins.
know, that was we didn't care about goals against average and
Yeah,
save percentage. Yeah, no, the stats really didn't matter. We just cared about the wins, and um, you just saw that throughout the whole season. We were just winning left and right, and it got very contagious within the team because it was just like we didn't want to lose at home. We had a few losses here and there on the road, but like I think we tried to keep that up to par when we were at home. We would always yell at each other, "We don't fucking lose at home. We don't lose in black. We don't fucking lose in orange." Like it'd always be something funny and contagious, you know.
yeah, and like that's like probably one of the biggest things I learned is just like of course like when you're younger you care about the stats and everything, but like now at like the pro level, like as long as you're getting wins and helping your team have a chance to win, like that's all that matters. And like you throw your stats right out the door. And like
Yeah,
those are when you have your best games. I remember going into the season, I was like I wanted like a 90-91 save percentage. I ended with like 899. So like that's
Yeah.
right there. And then like goaltender of the year, like that's one of the biggest things, and
Yeah.
like achieved that as well. But like wanted to win a championship, didn't win that one, but like there's certain like, but like I crushed 2 of the 3 goals that I had. So like that's all that
Yeah.
really like mattered to me.
Yeah, and exactly that's what even happened with us too. Like when the awards came out within the league, we saw like who got the awards and it was stacked with Carolina. We obviously we were kind of fuming because like some of the awards, the choices just didn't make sense, but we didn't care about that. Like we cared about the award that ended at the end of the season, and that was a championship. So I think that just added fuel to the fire right there. And like you saw what happened with us winning a championship. That's the top of the mountain right there, and that was job was finished right there too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can win that. You can go on and say that you achieved the biggest award, the biggest trophy at the end of the season that you can, and that's the FPHL's Commissioner Cup Championship.
Yeah,
Yeah, but earlier before we started recording, you talked about like practices and like what it was like and how you're playing like rebound after. Like rebounds, one of the best games to play post practice. How are those?
yeah. It was fun. It was fun for me. It was not fun for the guys. They hated because I was keeping track of the record too, and like there were some games I did struggle with, but it was pretty fun here in Danbury because we freaking. Uh, I hate the guys that just want to play one and done. I
Yeah,
we play it's a best of 3 series. So like even on days that we had meetings or the days that we had like yoga or the day that we had like court or something, uh, it was still we're playing a best of 3, and the guys they always had that what's that zombie craft like
yeah,
that little chant. The guys would be like doing that chant like every time they think like every time they were close to like winning the game, they would do that. But I just look at them and laugh. I'm like, you guys really don't understand. I don't give a shit about game one. I was like, I'll lose game one all day. If I win game two, you guys are screwed in game three. And that's what ended up happening. And they would chant, like sometimes they would go up 3-rip against me, like in game one. And then I come back and win. Then it goes to game two. They go up 3-rip again. I'm just like, you guys really love to fucking chant and chirp me when you're up 3-0, but then 3 goals is the worst lead to have. And like come back and win. So I think I can't remember my record to T, but I want to say I lost maybe I want to say 8 or 9 games. I know I won over 20 something games throughout the entire season. Like because we wouldn't always play like every day, but like once it got into playoffs too, the guys just wanted to play. And they
yeah.
get to a point where I'll be like, no, I was like, we just lost the other game. Go work on something. I don't want to play with you guys right now. But I ended up caving. It was funny when our coach started to like jump in the rebound because this Billy has a square toe warrior stick.
Oh,
It's so hard to read too, and like
yeah,
all he has to do is basically shovel it over my shoulders, and it's bar down every time. But then there was times where I just rob a guy glove side. The hardest person to stop. I'm probably gonna get so much crap for this saying this. I'll say it, this. The 2 hardest players to stop and rebound on our team was Michael Marshall and J Mac. Marshy and J Mac. Hardest guys to stop because J Mac would just shoot glove high and he's a defenseman every time.
yeah.
Marshy would just he'd be in the weeds basically. Every time it's a rebound that's going this way, he'd be on his one timer side and he just one time
Just
shovel
one
it
time it
over
in.
every time. I'll give an honorable mention to Tobias Ojic Toots. But like he can become a selfish player sometimes and like he be on a roll and then they kind of need it sometimes, and he just do something really stupid and just like shoot it high off the glass, and they'd automatically lose or something. But they joke around with each other too. It would be like some guys would be very like dialed in and serious versus rebound, and Toots or J-Mac would come up and like stick lift somebody and like they lose that point and I just laughed, but we had fun playing rebound.
Yeah, rebounds the best post practice game. Like I also love
Yeah.
like we do like with the shooters we'll do like we'll do 4 minutes
Three-puck
to get
or
10 pucks in. So kind of like 3 puck,
oh
but like it's just 4 pucks. You can do whatever, or 10 pucks. You can do whatever you want. You just got to get
oh yeah.
10 in 4 minutes. But
Yeah.
like the ultimate game is definitely rebound. Like that's probably my favorite game besides the 4 minute one. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing better than rebound and then stopping the boys and giving them shit when you win.
Yeah, no. I would give them shit so much, but then like well deserved. Like I had to eat a couple of chirps here and there too. Like Marshy would cry like he'd make like that baby crying like wah. I was like, just stop, man. Like because there was one time I was having a bad practice, I think, and then I wanted to play rebound, and they almost donut me, basically, like they almost
Oh,
shut me out. And I remember I lost the game, and it was a brand new stick that I just got, like because we just got new order Warrior sticks, and I just took that stick right to the post, and it only took like one whack at the post, but like they give it to me on that, but then sometimes Marshy actually broke the most sticks too, because like this guy, he would get so frustrated if he wouldn't score a goal, he'd break it over between his
oh.
legs. But then we'd play that game, the 10 puck, but like it'd be like during practice too, but it would be a shootout basically. And so like obviously, if you make it, what we did, if you score, you can keep going. But if you missed it, you have to get the puck, bring it back to the blue line.
Yeah, that's what
There
we
was a
did.
there was a couple times I was basically a savage, and if I stopped it, I'd shoot it all the way down, and they had to go skate. And some guys didn't like that though, and like I kind of got slashed in the legs and scratched on the stick a little bit, but it's all part of the
You
game.
fake like you're gonna pass it one way and then go the opposite way. So they're
Yeah,
already behind the net, just circling, and then you shoot it the other way.
yeah.
That's what
Marshy
I
did
usually
not
do.
like. He hated if I did that too. Like we and him went toe to toe a little bit here and there. He crushed me against the wall once,
Oh.
and then someone came in and fought him. But it was funny. He was like, "You're diving, Frankie. You're diving." Yeah. But
Nah,
that's see,
not
but
not
that's
at all.
but that's what a good team is. Like
Yeah,
you can joke around and do things like that with each other. It was never nothing serious. Like we didn't have any bad blowups like that.
yeah. Would you Selly like after you win games? Like what would be your go-to
Oh,
Selly?
uh, uh, I do the arrow every
There we
time.
go.
Every time I did that. Because I even did I did that in the shootout versus Elmira too. Like when it went 10 rounds, and when the guy missed, I was just like one hand, I was just full arrow. I was like, thank God it's over with. But like that's my go-to celly right there.
Yeah, I think I'd just do the hands up and then just the like knee celebration where you're like that.
Yeah.
And then but when I was like in Evansville, like one of the guys scored, he hit the gritty. So like
Oh,
next shot, loved it. Like flash of leather, and then I did the gritty back to him. Think I ended up winning that game, so
yeah.
got the last laugh.
We had a guy do a gritty on our team, and I remember he got chirped by the Delaware announcers. He's like, and that is the worst gritty I've ever seen in my life. I was just, and then the kid decided to post it on his page, and I just started laughing.
Just chirping. Just probably got chirps in the comments. Just
Oh, oh,
what was
oh,
that? The worst gritty I've
yeah,
ever seen.
yeah. He got flamed in the comments.
Yeah, that's unreal. We love rebound. We love the post practice games. But we'll finish this episode up with the Q&A that I put up on
Oh
Instagram.
gosh, I'm
So
kind of scared. I'm scared of some of those questions that are coming in.
there's well, there's 6 of them.
Oh,
First one
thank
is
God.
we'll start. Who is your favorite defenseman on the team that wears number 11?
Oh, Dollar. Ah, it's not
Is he your
Dollar.
actual favorite defenseman?
No, I'll answer that. So all the defensemen on our team,
There we go.
they're our favorite defensemen. Like if it wasn't for them eating shots, like J-Mac ate the most
Yeah,
shots this year, blocking pucks, putting their bodies in a line for us, and not like if we were out of position, they'd be right there. So
yeah.
all the defensemen on the Danbury Hat are the best defensemen in the league.
There we go. Next one is I mean we've pretty much touched on this a lot, but favorite thing about Danbury.
The fans. honestly, the fans and the rink staff is amazing too. Jim, the Zamboni driver, man, he make the ice just so clutch there. Like he's so
We
good.
love good ice that's smooth and everything, like the best ice there is.
Yeah, and actual pegs too. Actual like not actual like NHL pegs or whatnot,
Yeah.
but like the pegs with the screws on it.
Yeah.
At least we have a
Those
ton
are
of those.
those are clutch. I can't deal with regular rink pegs. Goes off every single time I hit the post.
I know, right? It's the worst.
Absolutely. But the next one is what's your favorite thing about like to do in Danbury? What's your favorite thing to do in Danbury?
That's tough. It's really tough because it's like there's not that much to do, but going to Peach Wave to go get yogurt, it's pretty fun. Because they're one of our sponsors and free yogurt. I mean, I'll take that any chance
Can't
I get,
complain.
but can't complain about that. But there's a couple of trails around here that like we like going on, but it's like a small town, like small city,
Yeah.
Danbury's it's very diverse too, so it's not that much to do, but like we have New York, what, an hour away, Hartford, I go to the casino here and there, so
There we
and
go.
Springfield, Mass. I do that lonely
All
drive by. So
springy is the best way to go
Springy,
to the
Springy's,
casinos.
yeah, but no, Danbury, it's a quiet city. I want to say, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Gotta love the springy casino.
Yeah, yeah.
But the next one is it's not a question, but Brayden and Mag say hi.
Hi, I read.
And then the last question is from the legend Mad Dog. He says, does he ever go to bed and think about how much he misses the Mad Dog?
Oh God, yeah, yeah, we do. We do miss the Mad Dog here and there sometimes. He'll call me out in random like places sometimes too. Like I remember, was it early on in the beginning of the season? I think he called me and I think he had got a new number or something, but like it was Pensacola, Florida. I was like, no way I'm getting called up right now. Like, are you serious? I mean, and I answered the phone and it was Pete, and I was like, oh, I wasn't upset, but I was like, oh, it's Pete. No,
Like
he,
shit, that would have been a great spot to go.
yeah, right. But no, I gotta thank him too because like I learned a little bit from him as well. Because he kicked around the SB for so long, and
Yeah.
obviously he played in the OHL when he was younger. So I got to learn a little bit from him, and we still talk here and there. But I remember me and Willie were when things kind of cooled down in the locker room after we won. We were like looking at our phones. First things I saw was from the Mad Dog, and he texted me and Willie in a group chat, and me and Willie like looked at each other. We started laughing, and we were like, "Of course, you would say Mad Dog," but like he's awesome, man. Like
Yeah.
he was a good goalie. He's a good goalie partner, good human being. So, it's nice to like see guys that are done playing like still keep tabs on the team and still
Yeah.
reach out because like they probably miss it, but they miss the locker room. But to see them start a new adventure and like he's goalie coaching now, so I think he's going to turn out to be a really really good goalie coach.
Yeah.
I think whatever you do after hockey, it's like obviously you're going to miss being around the boys and stuff and miss that locker room feeling, but um, to see him like reach out to me and Willie was like it was really nice. It was really heartfelt. Because we missed him, but um, obviously life starts after hockey, right? So
Yeah.
to hear from him, it was really great.
Yeah, an absolute legend. He hope he's happy with that answer. But
I
Frankie,
can't believe Dallas said that. Who is
yeah,
number 11 your favorite? That's just gonna. I'm gonna
that's
call him after this.
it's like Willie saying who's your favorite goalie, who's number 30 on your team.
Yeah, like come on, think of something better than. I'm gonna get that guy later. I'm gonna call him after I get off of this.
Frankie, this has been a lot of fun. Like always, I really appreciate you coming on again, and I want to wish you the best of luck and congrats on winning the cup this year, and good luck wherever you end up next year. Hopefully, go for another championship.
Thanks, buddy. It's always fun to come on the show.